My mother had died when I was 2 years old, and my aunt had come to get me from my father. My aunt had made sure that she came to the school that I could know how to type. What if I came out of high school and I didn't know how to type? So I came out of high school, I knew how to type, and I knew shorthand. So that would give me the opportunity to be able to find maybe, work somewhere. But the difficulty in that particular time in the 50s, you can remember the country was segregated, and we had a lot of problems in California. We had problems here too. Everyone thinks, oh, well, that was all down south. We had it right here in California. So my family had to make sure that I had a way to make a living. But I determined that when I joined the Army, because I knew they would give me a career. I served in the Army, and my rank got as high as corporal because I only served for 2 years. That's what I signed up for. I served in Germany and in France. That's where I spent the most of my time. My military training was at Fort Lee, Virginia, and they trained me at Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana, is where I received my career as an EAM operator. That's where they trained me. And then from Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana, they asked me, where do you want to go? And they sent me a telegram. I had gone home for Christmas, and I said, I want to see Europe. So they said, okay. And then I found myself going first to Mannheim, Germany, and then from Mannheim, Germany, they moved the whole unit to France. So I was there 7 years after the war, so there was no war. We were occupying the country. And I think the funniest thing was we could not use American money. So we used what they call script, and it just looked like monopoly money. And that's what we used during the time we were there. But it was a wonderful tour. The first time I saw Paris, oh my God, we were on the train and we were all so excited because we wanted to see Paris. And so there was a whole bunch of us. Remember, we couldn't use American money. We had to use script. And so when we got to Paris, it rained. I was drenched, and we had to find a hotel that would take us in and help us with it. We found a hotel, they took us in, they cleaned our clothes, they helped us, and then we had a chance to go to the Eiffel Tower. I wanted to see that. We went to the Eiffel Tower, and it was tea time, and there was a violin player playing the violin. It was so beautiful, and we just really enjoyed. That was my first experience with Paris. And then, of course, later on, we had a chance to tour other places. I had a chance to see Versailles. I had a chance to see Notre Dame. When I came back, I had a career. I was an EAM operator. And that included all these different IBM machines that we had to learn how to wire, we had to learn how to use. And during that time, if you can go back and remember, we used cards. And at that particular time when I came back, I was in demand. I could work on an Air Force base. I ended up eventually working for the Board of Education. I could get a job anywhere for years. Having that career as an EAM operator kept me working for years. I could go anywhere And when they knew I was EAM, oh my gosh, I would get the job. So for me, it was one of the smartest experiences. Now, when I went in the military, they asked me, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the medical or do you want to go someplace? I said, I want to go with IBM. I said, because that's a new thing that's come out. It's like computers coming in, you know, and I said, I want to learn how to use those big machines and how to work them. And so that was my career.
I served in 3 branches, the Marine Corps, the Army, and the Air Force in that particular order. I joined the Marines in 1986. I joined the military because when I was about 14, 13, 12, 14, around there, my mom actually talked me into joining the military. She said one of her friends had joined the military and he was able to go, you know, to school for the GI Bill and all that good stuff. So, and then my friends in high school, they all talked about joining the military, so we all went into the buddy system. So in 1986-ish, we took the ASVAB and all that stuff, and then we went in 87 after I graduated high school. Then after my tour of the Marines, I went home, and then I came to California, and I missed the military, so by 11, 12 years later, I joined the Army, and I got out the Army. I was going to go see a recruiter, but my supervisor with LA County talked me into joining the reserves. And I joined the 163rd California National Guard, and I retired September 30, 2020. The time in the military, in all 3 branches, they had a certain influence in my life. The Marine, for example, gave me the structure that I have, the discipline. Prior to the military, I was like a follower. You know, my friends do something, I'm just gonna jump the brig just like them. But since then, I've used everything I learned between the Marines and my mentor and the Army to kind of guide my life. So now I'm known as being structured, strict, organized, neat, clean, etc. The Army, as the saying goes, be all you can be. So before I hire a gardener to do my yard work, I'm going to actually attempt to do it. If I don't do it right the first time, or if I don't have the time, it's the only time I will hire somebody to do something I can do. That saying goes, be all you can be. The Air Force is more of my brain side. Also, the Air Force encouraged me to go to school and get my master's. The thing that sticks out the most proudly, I would say, then would be Katrina. Going to, as a part of the National Guard, the California National Guard, going down in 2005 to Louisiana and assisting the locals in law and order. I was fortunate that when I got there to experience the opportunity to go out with the fire rescue team from Orange County. Post-service, I am a deputy probation officer with the LA County Probation Department. I've been there for going on 25 years. I'm about 4 or 5 months short of 25 years. A lot of the stuff that I did in my previous assignments were military related. For example, being a cop in the military gave me the tools and the equipment and the skills that I needed to be in a special assignment with LA County Probation Department's Special Enforcement Operation Unit. Also, my skills in the military helped me deal with, inside the correctional institution, how to deal with some of the youth and the wards that we deal with that are detained. And advice I would give somebody considering joining the military would be, number one, before they go see a recruiter, make sure they know exactly what they want to do in life. So that way, when they go see a recruiter, they're well informed as to what they want and what they don't want. Also, number two, if they decide they want to be, say, domestic engineer, well, before you go see a recruiter, look up what domestic engineer actually means, because it might be one thing in the military and one thing for civilian. So know exactly what you want in life, and that way you can determine if you want to make it a career, which I would encourage everyone to at least serve 4 years, minimum 2. But I think, who am I? I'm just another person that served and loved the military. But I would encourage anyone and everyone that has the opportunity to join at least for 2 to 4 years.
Raymond was very young when he joined the Navy. He joined at 15 and somehow got in. They were taking young men at the time. And at the time, his brother had been drafted. And this is just kind of funny. But, but they were living on a farm in Mansfield, Missouri. And suddenly, Raymond found out that he was responsible for milking 30 cows instead of just 15 every day. Raymond, when he left home, he was very, very young, so he, on the way, since it was Missouri and it was very open space, I guess he roamed around for a while and then got a job for a farmer loading, 100-pound sacks of potatoes into a truck. And then after that, he got a job at a sawmill. And then finally, I think he heard about the Navy and decided that that was the way to go. And he would try to get into the Navy, which he did. And so then started his naval career. I met Raymond Gaskell at the Moonlight roller rink in Pasadena. And I skated up to him and introduced myself. So then he was on leave at the time, he was in the Navy and on leave at the time, and so I spent a week with him, kind of just driving around and getting acquainted. And then I waited for him for a year, well, 9 months, till he had shore duty again. I like to cook, and so but I'd make fudge and I'd put cookies and fudge together, which is not good, because when it got to him, then, he would take the fudge out and then he'd hand the box of crumbs to all of his buddies. He had this aptitude for math, and so it helped him in that respect. And it's helped him since then. When he got out of the Navy, he was a lot better prepared to he went into the carpenter trade. He began as a rough framer, as they all start in, but I think that the mathematical ability, of reading the plans and all, he became a superintendent. And yeah, I remember a time that he brought the plans home and he said, well, the architect could draw beautiful pictures, but the numbers weren't right. And so he said, no, this building's going to be way off. So he set it up in the garage and went all over it day after day until it was right, because he had to be responsible for this job. And he ended up working for some, very good construction companies. So he did well in that. We lived in Covina, and he built a huge patio on the back and an extension to the kitchen. And then we lived there 15 years, and then we moved to Walnut Dunbar area, and it was a 2-story house, and the upstairs had a master bedroom, and he wanted to convert that. Well, in the beginning, we had so many children, 1 boy and 5 girls. So one bedroom was a Jack and Jill, but as years went by, he wanted to change that to a master. So he there was a Jack and Jill had a closet, and he changed the windows around and the doors around and made it a master bedroom. And then he put a large patio on the back, and it's a shaded patio. I still use it for parties and wedding receptions, whatever, today.